Alrighty, guys, we're back for Delirium Aggro, and this is a Foundation Standard Brew, and I'm Red Cat. Let's briefly go over the deck, then hop right into some ranked. We have 4 Patchwork Beasties. It's a 1 mana 3/3. It can't attack or block unless you have Delirium, which of course is 4 or more card types among cards in your graveyard. Nice. In this deck list, it should be pretty easy to get. Now, at the beginning of your upkeep, you may mill a card, and that'll obviously help us stock the grave with Delirium. We also have a Cenote Scout. It's a 1 mana 1/1. When it enters, it explores, helping us stock up that grave, right? We have 4 Wildfire Wickerfolk. This is a 2 mana 3/2 with haste and Delirium. So if you have Delirium, it gets +1/+1 and Trample as well, which is no joke, dude. Again, should be pretty easy to get Delirium. If this is just a 4/3 hasty Trample for 2 mana, that's pretty disgusting, huh? We also have 4 Fear of Missing Out. When it enters, discard a card, then draw a card. Okay. Then it has Delirium, of course. When this attacks for the first time each turn, if there are 4 or more card types among cards in your graveyard, untap that creature. After this phase, there is an additional combat phase. Nice. Good stuff. Then here's some cards that we've been seeing in Delirium. Keen-Eyed Curator, making the cut as a 4 of. It's a 2 mana 3/3. As long as there are 4 or more card types among cards exiled with Keen-Eyed Curator, it gets +4/+4 and Trample. And then you can pay 1 mana of any color to exile target card from a graveyard. Of course, you're going to be picking stuff out of the opponent's graveyard, but then also you'll be picking like duplicates up out of your own graveyard too. So yeah, I don't think it's going to be unheard of at all to get this to a 7/7 Trample. So another card we've been seeing a lot of in Delirium is actually Breakout. I like this edition as it's one of the sorceries in here. So 2 mana with Gruul colors. Look at the top 6 cards of your library. You may reveal a creature card from among them. If that card has mana value 2 or less, you may put it onto the battlefield. It gains haste until end of turn. If you didn't put the revealed card onto the battlefield this way, then you just put it into your hand, and then you put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. Pretty neat card, man, especially when we have so many powerful creatures with mana value 2 or less to actually hit off of this. We do have other Delirium cards packed in. We have a Beastie Beatdown here as our one piece of spot removal. My goodness, is that enough spot removal? No, but maybe for this deck list, we'll see, right? The Beastie Beatdown is just a 2 mana sorcery. Choose target creature you control and target creature and opponent controls, and then it has Delirium. So if there are 4 or more card types among cards in your graveyard, you put 2 +1/+1 counters on the creature that you control, and then the creature you control deals damage equal to its power to the creature and opponent controls. I do think that those extra 2 +1/+1 counters will actually come in handy, especially in this deck list when not only does like the Wildfire give itself trample, but we have other ways to give our powerful creatures trample too, like all 4 Audacity. Actually have a couple Monstrous Rage in here too. Yeah, we're really trying to do the thing. Going to be pairing all this trample with a Violent Urge as well. So it's a 1 mana instant speed. Target creature gets +1/+0 and gains first strike until end of turn. However, if you have Delirium, it's not first strike, it's double strike. Okay. So obviously that can be super duper deadly, especially when pairing it with the cards that give trample or cards that already have trample. Our top end, a couple Seize the Spoils as another sorcery in here. So just 3 mana, sorcery speed as an additional cost to cast this spell, discard a card, and then you draw 2 cards, and you create a treasure token as well. I do think that treasure token will really come in handy too. I have a couple Omnivorous Flytraps too. So it's a 3 mana, 2/4. If it has Delirium when it enters or attacks, if you have Delirium, I have to stop reading that part, right? Distribute 2 +1/+1 counters among 1 or 2 target creatures. Okay, and then if there are 6 or more card types among cards in your graveyard, double the number of +1/+1 counters on those creatures. 6 or more card types. I don't think it's going to be completely unheard of, but it is going to be pretty difficult. So we have creatures, instants, sorceries, artifacts, enchantments, and lands. So you need 1 of each of those to actually pull off all 6. Now, as far as the mana base goes, you have all 4 commercial districts. Even though it's coming in tapped, I think the Surveil is really going to come in handy. And commercial district pairs really nicely with the Verge as well. We have all 4 Verge in here. We do have a Copperline Gorge. I do think the mana base is going to be very, very greedy. So hopefully we don't get held up too much on like double green here or all the Gruul casting creatures too. So we have a couple Fabled Passage as well, just more ways to get more things into the grave, get lands into the grave, and then also mana fix, which of course is important for the Verge too. Okay, honorable mentions, guys. Not too much over here. I probably could have put a little bit more, but a card that I really wanted to try in here was actually Bulk Up. Because when you have a cheap way to give Double Strike, then Bulk Up would be pretty interesting to give to your Double Strike creature as well. Not this time around, though. Okay, guys, I do my dandiest to save the more in-depth discussion for the end of the video, so look forward to that. In the meantime, let's go ahead, take this into some ranked, and see how we do. All right, right into that first game. What am I expecting from the build? It should be pretty darn good, right? I don't know. I don't know, man. Okay. So I guess what I mean to say is I'm expecting a lot, but sometimes you just never know. Opponent goes first. I think this is keepable. We have our turn 1, or we could just go Fabled Passage right away, grab our red source. I think we do our turn 1 because we could grab more. Oh, we find more mana anyways. That's good. All right, Patchwork Beastie, you can't block yet, which could be a problem, but I'll tell you what, even if it could block, Boros, Auras, and stuff knows how to get around that very easily. It's going to be Monstrous Rage. All right, that's a turn 2. Yes, we take that action, seize the spoils in the grave. Patchwork Beastie number 2. Right. So, we have the Wildfire. Or we could go Patchwork Beastie number 2. We could die next turn, guys. We could go Fabled Passage. Find another green source, probably. Right. No, we should get the blocker down. We should. But it's just going to be a trump blocker, and there's no guarantee that it even sticks around. So, this is awkward, huh? Let's see what happens. He's a Manifold Mouse. Well, the good news is it's still a blocker, but yeah, the trampled double strike, that's a problem, right? We could just take the 10. We actually get to keep the Wildfire around. It's a little risky. Shard Mage's Rescue could end it. That's fine. Okay. Nice. Nice. Okay, good stuff. Yeah, Shard Mage's Rescue would have given it an extra 2 because of the Scavenger on the board as well. Which, of course, would have been the 4 damage due to the double strike. Another Violent Urge. Right. I think going first here, of course, would have really helped out, but... So I'll grab the green. The other green. Well, another red would be okay here too, I guess. But I think green's fine. I mean, this is our last turn. So we do have the Violent Urge. We could go Audacity onto the Beastie at least. We have a fun swing. And I'm going to take the time for that fun swing. Let's put Audacity onto the Patchwork Beastie. Or I guess technically just going all into the Wickerfolk would have been a little bit better here, since we planned on giving double strike to one of these creatures. And I'm just going to go ahead and take it here. So wait a minute. They're down to 4. Holy cow, guys. What a turn 3. They drop a hello. Hey, good game, opponent. Wait a minute, guys. We got them so low. If I put it all onto one creature, is it a similar concept here? The Wildfire would have been... Well, Patchwork Beastie wouldn't have had Trample, so technically they could have chumped then too. But they didn't know that we had Violent Urge in hand, but still, they still might have blocked there anyways. So hold on, I kind of wanted to math that out real quick. So Audacity on top of the Wildfire would have brought it up to 6. Then Violent Urge would have brought it up to 7. So that would have been 14 double strike trampling damage. Meanwhile, Patchwork Beastie would have just been a 3/3 still. So it would have been 17 going through if they didn't block the Beastie. So they would have been at 3 then, right? Because I don't think they gained anything. I think they were at 20 when we got that swing through. I'll tell you what, dude. If we went first, huh? I think we could have gotten there. So we got to see a very explosive side of this deck list, which is kind of what we're relying on. Hence the very limited amount of removal in here. We'll see if that ends up working out, though. Oh, we go first this time. We could skip our turn 1 easily and just get the district down. Verge on 2, get the Keen-Eyed Curator down. All right. I don't see anything wrong with this hand. I guess technically getting the scout down, since we are going first, we could just go into the forest. Yeah, there's no need to establish the district. We might as well actually get a creature down and see what we get with the Explorer too. I will keep that on top gladly. Depending on what they play, yeah, I guess it's actually going to be Wildfire over the Keen-Eyed Curator. That way we push more damage through faster instead of having to wait here. All right. I think if we had more Delirium cards in hand, then sending the Wildfire could have been good too, of course, being an artifact creature. All right, this would be the turn to establish the commercial district, which I suppose we do now. Fear of missing out. We could grab the fear off the breakout, or again, it's an enchantment creature in the grave. I guess we could do that. Top 6 cards with the breakout, we get haste with it. I think I'd rather them counter the breakout than the curators, I guess. Let's see what happens. Nothing. If it has mana value 2 or less, we could grab the Flytrap, put it in hand, or we could get the scout onto the board, which I guess is a little bit better, right? Take the action because of the Explorer. We might actually get the... So I already have a sorcery in the grave, thanks to the breakout. So do we need the Beastie Beatdown against what we're up against? No. I'm going to send it. All right. Good swing. Yeah, not bad at all. Let's see if the opponent... well, it's not going to be a turn 3 board wipe. That's good at least, right? Split up could have been devastating since all of our creatures were tapped. Could double down on the Keen-Eyed. I think we don't, though, and I think we go for the Surveil, try to get the Delirium. I guess? I don't really know. There's 7 on the board. See what happens here to our creatures. Leyline Binding. Got them down to 4. Yeah, we got to be very careful, but I think we still do play one of these, especially since we kept the other one on top. All right, temporary lockdown is a problem, dude. Okay, we're officially in danger, guys. We really are. But that doesn't mean that we can't still get there. Play the mana, play the curators, and see what happens. This is very much a Sunfall style build too, so... Yeah, I think we're in danger, but we can still get there, especially since we have hasty creatures. That's not going to be enough. They're gonna need a little bit more here, right? Take one of the sorceries. Yeah, because we'll be able to give trample to this. Oh, and hasty, huh? All right. 1, 2, 3. Oh, wait a minute. That's only 3. Never mind. I thought we were going to be able to get the trample through. We'll only have 3. With the Wickerfolk, too. Crap. The crap, guys. I got so excited there. Well, I mean, we still go for the swing. I don't know why I thought we were going to actually get the 4 different types. 3 through is amazing, but it's not enough against these builds, man. Oh, no. All right. Well, we have the artifact in the grave now if we can keep one of these around, but I shouldn't have exiled anything that turn. Oh, we might be okay. But see, that's okay. Now they actually have a land in the grave too. We got a little bit lucky. I was sweating, dude. Holy cow. First of all, yeah, I was real nervous that it was going to come down to my mistake of exiling these, thinking that we actually had all four for some reason, but we didn't. I guess the double sorceries tricked my brain a little bit. So that's one thing too. At the end there, we could have picked up their land with this Keen-Eyed Curator to get it up to a 7/7 trample. So if for some reason they had blockers or something, I guess. But then additionally too, we did have the artifact in the grave as well, if we needed to grab that instead of their land or something. Ooh, buddy. That could have gone either way easily, man. Easily. All right, let's keep the ball rolling. Yeah, I think we can easily roll it into some more victories. So far, it's about what I'm expecting. It's just a lot of really good value creatures, and then a lot of potentially easy ways to actually get that delirium into the grave. So as far as the creatures go, we've been seeing this creature lineup quite often in these delirium builds, and then seeing breakout quite often in these delirium builds too. I actually just really like the breakout edition that everyone's been playing with. It's neat. Oh, we don't have the mana we want to see. If this was a untapped green source, maybe, because we have 3 cards in hand that could actually be played on a forest. We could grab a forest on this, guys, but the opponent goes first. That's just way too slow. That's a mulligan. All right. All right. So if we keep the mountain over the commercial district, we won't have the Keen-Eyed Curator. That doesn't mean we won't grab or won't find a green source at some point, but we should assume we won't see anything outside of what's already in our hand and send the mountain, and then start with the commercial district probably. All right. Bloom Lake Verge. Do you on the Surveil? Fabled Passage. I think we keep it. We're going to want 3 at some point, and Fabled Passage will go to the grave anyways for the delirium, so I think that's fine unless we end up flooding out underneath the Fabled Passage. So we'll see what ends up happening. Out of the cards in hand, I think it'll be Breakout that we wouldn't mind being countered. Oh, Keen-Eyed Curator. Nice. Yeah, we'll do that. Take the action. Gets haste. Let's see if it dies, right? So it is a go for the throat. So actually grabbing the other creature would have gotten around the go for the throat, but we wouldn't have had the swing because we didn't have delirium yet. But then we would have had the mill. Could have got that going. Fear of missing out. We will send the Audacity. Okay, Fairy Mastermind. Audacity's an enchantment. Right. I hope Audacity is an alright send here. I'm valuing our creatures more. Okay. Flytrap isn't bad. We'll grab a green source, I guess, especially since the double green on the Keen-Eyed. Alright, but we'll wait for their turn. So yeah, getting the Mastermind down before we drew on the Fear of Missing Out was pretty good from the opponent. And of course, this isn't you may discard. It just straight up says discard a card. Archfiend's a problem, dude. Yeah, it's a problem. It's a really good blocker. Yeah, let's grab a green source. So we have the delirium. Okay, commercial district. Yeah, we'll get the Surveil before anything else, I suppose. Seize the spoils. Could be interesting. I'll keep it on top. Yeah, they have a really good block here. I say we take the turn for some setup. We'll go Flytrap. How do you guys feel about that? And I am gonna spread this between the two. Over just going all onto the fear of missing out, because it would be way too easy for the opponent just to go for the throat on either one of these. All right, let's see what the opponent pulls off for the turn, guys. Gonna be Anoint. Come on, miss the removal for the fear. They do go for the swing. Oh no, it's a go for the throat for the fear too. Darn, really well placed spot removal from the opponent. I can't imagine getting through now, especially since they actually just have 8 in the air anyways, huh? Oh no, I should have done my dandiest to swing in last time, because at the very least maybe we could have taken out the Archfiend with some double strike damage. Then maybe we'd still be in this for a turn. Well, at that point, it's probably just fear of missing out over anything else. We'll get rid of, if we find mana, they also get card draw here on the Fairy Mastermind. Okay, Breakout also is not terrible, but, ooh. Fear of missing out? Yeah, that's not bad at all. We take that action, get rid of Seize the Spoils. If we find a red source, we'll have Violent Urge. We do not find the red source, but we still have a pretty fun swing with the fear of missing out, and the opponent has the damage in the air. Good game, opponent. Oh man. So earlier too, that first, if the first go for the throat missed our artifact creature, we found Delirium pretty fast. They would have had the Anoint for that artifact creature instead, and then maybe we could have kept the Flytrap around. That's all very noteworthy. If I would have just taken into consideration that we were up against Dimir, and we know that Dimir runs a whole lot of spot removal, including Go for the Throat is probably the main piece of spot removal in a lot of these lists, right? So we'll note that for sure. If we go up against Mono Black or more Dimir today, or even Golgari, but Golgari knows how to clean up pretty much anything, so yeah, when we're searching for a card off the top, maybe we want to go for our artifact creatures more often than not, depending on what we're up against, over just the bigger threat. I mean, Beastie Beatdown in hand. Our one-of is showing up, at least. I'd like to see it do a thing today, though. I guess there is a reason why I opted for one, but at the same time, you know, that removal should come in handy at some point. We go first. I'm keeping this. This is great, dude. We'll start with the commercial district. No 1-drops. All right, I want to see the Seize the Spoils do something today, so I am going to keep it, especially since we already have the 3 mana. Okay. Sunken Citadel calling a black. Okay, I'm going to go right into the Keen-Eyed Curator because it's a 3/3. Just a bigger threat right now. Seize the Spoils for next turn, and we still have Audacity onto the Keen-Eyed, which could be really good. Keen-Eyed also getting around to cut down is nice. Uh-oh. Oh, great targets here. I don't know what the opponent chooses, honestly. Could be the Audacity. I could see any of these. Seize the Spoils, Beastie Beatdown, and Audacity. They have their selection. And so it's in their hand too, though. It's going to be the Seize the Spoils, unfortunately. Darn. Okay. Well, that is a sorcery in the grave, though, now. Okay. Well, I'm afraid to send anything. But I guess we'll start with fear of missing out, send the district. Because that's a land in the grave then. It's a Verge. And we might as well go for the Audacity. Audacity onto the Fear gets it around a cut down. But onto the Keen-Eyed Curator gets more damage through this turn. And if they kill it, at least we replace the Audacity with its ability. I hope that's okay. They also know that we have the Beastie Beatdown. But right now it's just a generic bite ability, since we don't have anything, any delirium. Okay, well, I guess we swing. And see what happens, right? See where their removal lands. It is going to be a go for the throat for the Keen-Eyed Curator. Well, see what we draw on the Audacity. Get the opponent down to 13. More mana isn't the greatest, I would say. But we do have Delirium now, which is great news. Go ahead and get the other Keen-Eyed down. We can start picking up stuff out of their grave, too. Side Lookout. Oh, nice. Nice. That's cool. Alright, let's pick up Sorcery out of their grave. Pick up Instant out of their grave. And we have the Beastie Beatdown here. Oh, wow. That's pretty good, too, huh? That's pretty good, too. Where do I even, Yeah, GG opponent. GG. I guess because we were about to untap one of these. Right, deck win rate back up to 50%. So where's the best place to put the extra 2 counters? Well, first of all, Beastie Beatdown showing off a bit in this one. So already we could potentially consider 2 of them just because of how valuable it was here. If we didn't have it, that could have been a little bit different. We still would have had a pretty solid swing and then untap the Wildfire, I guess, but that would have been the block too. So actually without the Beastie Beatdown, it would have probably went right back to the opponent. They could have found more. Yeah, so that game definitely showcased something there, and something important too is actually the extra 2 counters from the Beatdown. Seemed very valuable too, so yeah. Cool. So in the final thoughts, maybe we'll figure something out. We'd probably want to drop one of our sorcery speed things to go up the other sorcery speed thing, right? We want a nice balance of all the card types. Okay, we go first. That's excellent news. This is good. A great hand. With all 4 Verge being in the deck list, you got to be careful because it only taps for that red until you actually have a mountain or a forest on the board, which is going to be very often that it's just going to be an excellent Gruul land, but still got to be careful when we got so many like green 1-drops. Okay, go ahead and get that swing. Seeing Violent Urge and Monstrous Rage in the same hand is awesome. But we're not even close to the Delirium yet. Fear of missing out? What are you doing over there? You're supposed to be over here. Oh, another Violent Urge, actually. Okay, that's interesting. I think we're going to actually go right into the Seize the Spoils, ditch the Commercial District. That's a land in the grave. We get an untapped treasure token, so we still have combat tricks, which would be the Monstrous Rage if they block, especially. Well, the Urge also does something similar, but this is fine. Let's see. The trade into the Scout there. They probably want to trade into the Wildfire Wickerfolk, though. No, they don't. They don't fall for this at all, guys. They really don't. Well, that's okay. Let's go for maximum damage. All right. Get them down to 10. And we now have Delirium. Since a creature hit the grave there. They got an Undead Sprinter in the grave. X-Mage, they still got 2 open. Could be very easy to find removal. However, it's like I was rambling about in that other game. Having artifact creatures is actually super important, dude. When Go for the Throat is just everywhere. Okay, nice. They got Disturbing Mirth here, and they got rid of the Hex Mage's Curse. To go for the swing. I think that's it, guys. A double Violent Urge is pretty brutal stuff, man. That's pretty brutal. I think that's all we have to do, right? But we could try to find more. Because we'll still have double Violent Urge if we go Seize the Spoils, Ditch the Scout. There's your token. Oh, wow. Audacity also works, doesn't it? That's a little bit more fun than just doubling down on the... We go swing. It doesn't matter if they block or not, so I'll just do this now. That's an 8/4, double strike trample. So 16 damage going through. Awesome stuff, man. Yeah, if they blocked, they could have prevented 2 damage of that. Cool. Yeah, we got lucky that they missed some removal for the Wildfire. However, at the same time, it's like I said, just being an artifact creature, they easily could have had Go for the Throat in hand. They could have had Cut Down in hand, but after we hit Delirium, it's a 4/3, so Cut Down doesn't hit it either. So, like, that's... Man, that's all very noteworthy, isn't it? When we do see so much Cut Down and so much Go for the Throat. All right. 31 minutes in, actually almost 32 minutes in. I can't believe it, guys. These matches are flying by. Let's try to get 1 or 2 more in, see how long they are first. But guys, while I have you here towards the end of the video, make sure you check out that description where we do have that Discord link, as well as that Patreon link too, if you're interested in joining either of those up or supporting the channel that way. And then also, guys, for the other YouTube nonsense, if you enjoyed the video, make sure you actually drop it a like. And if you enjoy the channel, then consider subscribing as well, because it really does help out the channel. So thank you, guys. Okay, opponent goes first here. Right. It's a little slow for the opponent going first. I'm actually terrified of more Boros Auras or something. But, I mean, we'll keep it. I feel like this could be a really awkward mulligan where we might just regret it. Okay, Commercial District. Might be a mirror match. They keep it on top. I shall do the same, opponent. Oh. Alright, I'll send it. Two card types already in the grave. Easy peasy, right? Although it does feel a little bit strange sending creatures when usually we want to keep every single creature possible. Because they die so often, you know? And also the Patchwork Beastie is a good one to keep because as time goes on, of course, it's helping you mill anyways. But also, I don't know, it kind of makes sense to me. Alright. Fear of missing out. I'll probably send the Forest. That gets a land to the grave, and then all we need is either the enchantments that we have or the Violent Urge instant. Of course, we want to wait for the Urge, but yeah, send the Forest, find another Forest. Easy peasy, right? Nice. All right, Lightning Helix for the first Fear of missing out against Naya colors with a Lightning Helix. We should be concerned, dude. Overlord. Nice. Oh, buddy. Oh, buddy. Man, it's so easy to get the Delirium. It just happens. You play a little bit. I mean, the opponent's killing your stuff anyways too, so that's obviously helping you hit your Delirium. All right, let's go with... I guess we established the other Fear of missing out. We send the Forest, I guess? Oh, nice. And guys, I'm not playing around here. We're actually going to set up the Audacity too. If they end up killing it, we replace the Audacity anyways. If they don't end up killing it, Right now, fear of missing out's a threat, but also we have threats in hand. And if they don't kill the fear of missing out, then we just established one heck of a threat, as it can untap itself to have another combat. And then that's just super deadly, of course, with our Violent Urge in hand. They go Overlord. Okay, that might not be enough to save you, opponent. So let's go with... Where do you guys suppose they're going to block? So other forest. Wherever we untap is where they're going to block, right? I can imagine. So we'll untap the Wickerfolk, since the fear of missing out already has a huge target on its back. And then we give it double strike. So we chomp through the Overlord. And then we get the other combat too. All right. This is good, man. This is good. However, they ramped significantly, dude. This could easily be Sunfall turn. We would draw off Audacity, but then we're just relying on Keen-Eyed Curator, which of course does not have haste. Overlord coming down. That's pretty darn good. That definitely gives him some blockers. Wow. Wow. There we go. Another Wildfire. I mean, we go for it. We swing. We untap. See where they block. That's insane, dude. That was a really good top deck at that point. The trample. Yep, they do go for the double block on the fear. Nice. There's a lot of trampling damage, dude. Got the deck win rate up to a 66%. Not half bad, huh? I would say that if we kept going... Oh, man. I mean, of course, it can't, like... We played another 20 games. There's no way it would stick around a 66%, right? Probably start to balance itself around a 60%. I'm pretty confident that it would probably balance around a 60%, actually. Yeah, it feels decent, dude, and it's drawing really well too. Huh. Guys, let's leave it at that. Let's end on a high note. First of all, we did get a little lucky. They missed their Sunfall. Instead, they went for chump blockers, and then the game gave it to us by giving us another trampling hasty creature. But oh yeah, getting those quests done. We got an end of video pack here too. It's Foundations. Nice. It's gonna take me forever to collect all the Foundation cards. Ooh, that's what you like to see though. Rare wild card. All right, Delirium Aggro. Here's the deck list again, guys. Cool stuff. I like ending on that high note for sure. Wildfire Wickerfolk. This card's a beast, dude. Holy cow. Holy cow. Yeah, most of the time you just prefer seeing this over the Keen-Eyed Curator, but that doesn't really take away from the fact that this is still a 2-mana 3/3 that works well enough with this theme. A 2-mana 3/3 that you don't mind hitting with a breakout, because all of a sudden now it's a 2-mana 3/3 with haste, right? So neat. Really neat addition. It's like I said, we've been seeing this in, I think I brought this up at the beginning. We've been seeing Keen-Eyed Curator in these Delirium builds, and we've been seeing Breakout in these Delirium builds, and thought those were really neat additions, and I was very excited to revisit Delirium to see how it actually goes. Against that Dimir match, I think Flytrap was actually excellent. It's just too bad that the opponent actually found 2 pieces of spot removal on the same turn that just cleaned everything up beautifully. They had big old chunky things in the air, so we were on a clock. So in that scenario, Flytrap was a little slow, but I think most of the time when you play this out, you're going to want to have Delirium already, which you probably should have it. It seemed pretty darn easy to get Delirium. As long as you're paying attention to the card types, paying attention to your discards well enough, right? And then, but also, it's whenever it attacks, too. So I like this as a 2-of on the top end, but I could also see other things in here as well. I did actually enjoy the Seize the Spoils, but it's another one of those things. It's on the top end. I don't think we need more of these. 2 felt all right. And I do think most of the time, you know, acting as one of our sorceries in here too. We have 7 total sorceries, only 6 total instants, 8 total artifacts, 8 total enchantments. 21 land, 22 creatures. Of course, the artifacts and enchantments, some of those are doubling as creatures as well. But yeah, anyways, you want that good split in here. And it's funny to me that we actually have more sorceries than we do instants, but Beastie Beatdown. We have to talk about the second one of these, right? Oh, the mana base felt good too, didn't it? The mana base was not as greedy as I thought it was, so maybe we landed on something pretty darn good over here. If it does end up being more greedy than what we ended up seeing today, then more Copperline Gorge could be necessary. At that point too, I don't know how incredibly necessary the double Fabled Passage are, but it did definitely help us out today getting the Delirium. Since it sacrifices, gets a land into the grave, right? And that means you don't have to discard a land to, like, fear of missing out. You can discard something else. Again, just getting you that one step closer to Delirium. I feel like we landed on something nice over here, but it really depends. More testing required, usually. I still think that the one Copperline Gorge is worth it in here, too. I don't think you want to go up a third Fabled Passage. We put aggro for a reason, so even just the commercial district slows us down pretty significantly. But the concept here, of course, is sure, it slows us down, but it actually kind of sort of speeds us up a little bit too, because you get that surveil. So again, you're getting one step closer to Delirium, which is a pretty darn solid ability in the right build, huh? Would I like to see the Patchwork Beastie do more? That also could have just been my fault not opting for the Beastie over the Keen-Eyed Curator when we went Breakout too. If we went Beastie, maybe that Dimir match could have been a little bit different too. So a little bit more practice and we would have known that. Violent Urge. This is sick, man. Now the question is, how greedy do you want to get with it sometimes? Sometimes you're not going to have Delirium. Do you still just go for like a nice quick combat trick, +1/+0 and first strike? Yeah, probably. You probably don't want to be too greedy with it. Because then at the very least too, since again, we only have the 6 instants, then at least you have an instant in the grave now. So you're one step closer to the Delirium for your other cards too. Yeah, dude. All right. I thought I had more to say about this, but it was pretty clean overall. I think that right now we want to figure out how we're going to put that other Beastie Beatdown in. This could also be your removal of choice. I would opt for Bite, guys, if you're going to go for removal. However, you could also just opt for some burn. If we drop the Beastie Beatdown, like a couple Lightning Strikes or something, but honestly, with only 21 mana, maybe the burn should be a little cheaper too. So Burst Lightning, right? Maybe. See, Burst Lightning doesn't hit as much. Beastie Beatdown is actually going to hit a lot more. And again, with how easy it was to actually get Delirium, those extra counters are going to go a long way too. That's a tough decision, dude. Tempted to drop either a Seize the Spoils or a Flytrap and go up the other Beastie Beatdown. Maybe it's Flytrap? I liked it on the top end. I did, but everything else was just a little bit faster. How do you guys feel about that? Oh man, that's tough. That's tough. And it is going to be pretty hard to actually get all 6 of your card types in your graveyard too. If it would be easier if we had Battles and Planeswalkers in here as well. Which some Battles and Planeswalkers potentially could have made the honorable mentions earlier, but all I ended up having over there was the bulk up. We could also put something to a 3 of as well to go up the Beastie Beatdown, like Audacity could be a 3 of maybe. I actually really like the Audacity though. Audacity is one of those cards where you're risking it a little bit, but at the same time, it's okay to risk it. They remove it, it replaces itself, and sometimes that's actually just really good, especially in a deck list like this. So with 8 enchantments, right? If it is replacing itself, it's an enchantment in the grave, one step closer to Delirium, right? Sounds like a broken record at this point, but yeah, enchantment in the grave replaces itself. You might find one of your other Delirium cards. No, I like all 4 Audacities too. Darn, guys, I don't want to drop a Flytrap, but I think that's the drop. Look at that curve, guys. Wow. That's hilarious, man. So when you're looking at aggro curves like this, and it's just a line, Then of course what you're looking at is your turn 3 is going to be a 2-drop and a 1-drop at the same time, right? Or something along those lines. So it kind of curves out that way instead of like a proper curve. I do think that's fine though. We're not too concerned here. It's not much different if we just had the beatdown in the Flytrap. So it's just funny that it's going to be 18 1-drops and also 18 2-drops as well. See, I don't want to drop the Seize the Spoils though. I really, really don't. What that puts us at then is actually 8 sorceries, 8 artifacts, 8 enchantments, then the 6 instants, and then 21 creatures. So I think it makes a lot of sense to actually drop a creature. It just kind of feels bad because I actually really liked the Omnivorous Flytrap, but based on what we saw today too, I think this still might be the weakest link, and what definitely was not the weakest link was the Beastie Beatdown, as a matter of fact. I think if we actually saw that one of in more of the other builds too, or more of the other games, I think it would have been excellent in those other games too. So even though we were winning pretty efficiently, the beatdown could have helped us win even more. So yeah, guys, what do you think? Do you like my change? It does break my heart a little bit, but what would you add or take out? What does your Gruul Delirium build look like? Felt pretty good, man. Like I said to you, if we kept going, I do think it would balance around a 60% win rate. Just like a gut feeling. Of course, more testing required, but 60%, if it does balance around that, would be pretty darn good. And so usually I'm hesitant to say that, but man, it just drew so beautifully. We might have been getting a little lucky too then. That's tough. That's tough to say. What about the do not craft list? Is this a deck list to consider not crafting? It looks relatively budget. Keen-Eyed Curator and the Fear of Missing Out. So these are rares. Fear of Missing Out we see in like Rakdos Reanimator too. Keen-Eyed Curator, mono green, right? Then the top end. See, that's the thing too with the Flytrap being a rare. If you don't have any of these, I wouldn't craft them. You don't have to craft the Flytrap. You could just go up like another Seize the Spoils. Another Monstrous Rage actually would be good too, because that's just even more instants. And Monstrous Rage is going to work really well with all these super chunky creatures too. So, but as far as the Keen-Eyed Curator and the Fear of Missing Out goes, at least they are kind of sort of played in other builds. Fear of Missing Out outside of Rakdos Reanimator probably has some other cool things that you can do with it too. Outside of mono green Keen-Eyed Curator, where else? Where else, guys? Raccoons. Yeah, we don't really get to see raccoons, but I know one thing. I want to revisit raccoons at some point. And then the mana base, of course, can be played in other Gruul mana bases too. But yeah, so what I'm going to say about this one is craft a little bit less based on what your collection looks like. So, you know, if you don't have all these rare dual lands, maybe you have some other dual lands that you'd like to try out in here instead. That would probably work well enough, although I do really like what I landed on here with the mana base. So, okay, guys, enough rambling, huh? If you made it this far into the video for real, y'all are champions. I super duper appreciate you, and I will see you in the next video.